Deus Ex Mankind Divided takes place 2 years after the events of Human Revolution, and due to a result of the AUG incident, humanity has now divided itself between norms and AUGs, and Interpol agent Adam Jensen finds himself caught right in the middle of this conflict. After a series of terrorist attacks involving augmented organizations, Adam Jensen must take part in a series of investigations that span across multiple different and unique locations in order to stop a future major attack that could have catastrophic effects for the entire human race. Now, I'm just going to start off by saying that with me being a story-driven gamer, the main campaign for Deus Ex Mankind Divided is simply incredible. Adam Jensen is a very interesting protagonist that has a lot of layers and depth to his character, and the rest of the supporting cast on both the protagonist and antagonist side alike have their own dynamic and have their own motivations along with having their own unique reactions to events that are playing out throughout your playthrough. But this is only made possible due to the effective use of player choice interactions, both within the main campaign and the primary gameplay. Several times throughout your playthrough, you will be presented with a series of choices that you will have to decide, and depending on your decisions, it will shape how the future events will play out. By having this mechanic, it presents a very high level of replay value, as I found myself immediately replaying the game after my first playthrough just to see how my different choices could have affected my playthrough of the game. Mankind Divided's narrative went over many real-world issues like discrimination and injustice that I found myself being personally affected when I made several choices that ended up having a very bad result, forcing me to have to live with the consequences and move on. If you are looking for a highly in-depth personal story that you yourself can shape throughout your own choices in an action-rich environment, then Deus Ex Mankind Divided will be well worth your time and experience playing. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, just like its previous installments, can be described as an open-world exploration stealth action title with some RPG elements thrown into the mix. You are free to explore just about anywhere you want, anytime you want, except for specific maps that are only accessible during specific missions. You will be spending most of your exploration time in the city of Prague, where you can interact and explore just about every street, every building, and nearly every room. If you choose to venture off on your primary missions, there are a large collection of side missions that you can take part in, and these side missions give you more information on the current state of the public, along with discovering several hidden and dirty secrets about its citizens. There are several collectibles that you can collect and discover that can provide you even more information on your current state assignment, and even provide you passwords to unlock key locks that reveal even more secrets and even hidden pathways or areas. Now, the combat department of gameplay is divided into two categories: a more straight-up offensive approach, or the use of stealth, which can be applied to each and every single engagement that you would take part in, to which all your weapons and augmentations can be customized to your personal preference. As you collect crafting parts and proxy kits, if you'd like to go for a more silent approach, trying to attract as little attention as possible, you can apply silence to most of your weapons that obviously will cause less noise, but will also cause less damage, requiring precision to make sure every single shot counts, as well as upgrading your augmentations like your glass shield cloak, which will allow you to turn invisible, or your Tesla shots that will be able to knock out your target using a powerful electronic charge. For those of you who don't mind getting a little blood on your hands and like to make a lot of noise, you can equip your weapons with armor-piercing rounds to cause maximum damage, and upgrade such augments like your nano blades, which can serve as your primary up-close killing weapons and can be fired at a distance. And you can also apply your Titan skin, which will coat you in a hard material, allowing you to withstand more damage in a firefight. Another important element to the combative gameplay is the use of hacking. You can pick up multiple different forms of hacking tools along with upgrading your augments to make hacking security cameras, detecting lasers, security turrets, and even drones, and can use them against your enemies, allowing you to save up your resources. When you have finished with the main campaign, you can jump into the new gameplay mode called Breach, which can be described as an arcade-style playground where you can take part in a series of challenge maps to test out your skills and the use of your augmentations from your primary game and compare your score and level performance against your friends. In conclusion, Deus Ex Mankind Divided's primary gameplay is not a major improvement over Human Revolution. It simply takes all the gameplay mechanics you had enjoyed before and just adds more of them. Square-Enix and Eidos Montreal Studios' decision to use the Dawn engine really helps create a very smooth running experience while playing, and I feel that the developers should also be praised for just how much time and effort they put into designing each of the individual maps that were created for each distinct area. Every hallway, every room, and every hidden area and walkway was carefully thought out and designed to make the unique world of Deus Ex feel as authentic as possible. The soundtrack, though not very memorable for me, is certainly distinctive and stands apart, capturing that cyberpunk feel that has great timing when the situation changed in the midst of gameplay. The enemy's AI is also very challenging, especially on the harder difficulties, as you will encounter multiple different types of enemies that know not how to only use the environment to their advantage as you can, but augmented opponents can apply many of the same maneuvers and techniques that you yourself will come accustomed to using. The only main game design flaws I encountered were that some of the in-game cutscene moments did freeze at times, some of the lip syncing amongst several characters was really off to the point where I did find it distracting, and the lack of multiple different and unique and challenging boss fights, which in my opinion were very well handled in Human Revolution, are greatly missed here, as though throughout the 20 to 30 hour main campaign, I encountered only one, maybe two bosses, and due to the fact that I had so many weapons and augments at my disposal, allowed me to deal with these enemies extremely quickly, even on the hardest difficulties. However, these flaws only affected my own personal experience with Mankind Divided, and I do not believe that they will be a major issue for a majority of the people that choose to pick up this title. Now, in conclusion, Deus Ex Mankind Divided is a great game, especially for a story-driven gamer like myself. However, if I can be honest, I can't say that it's a massive improvement over last generation's Human Revolution, as I felt that the developers at Square-Enix and Eidos Montreal Studios simply took the template, or pretty much the skeleton gameplay structure of Human Revolution, and just added maybe a couple of new additions. I didn't really feel like it was really a major innovative reconstruction of the game, and a lot of the same problems that were in Human Revolution are also present here in Mankind Divided. I mean, yeah, the story is very well written and very compelling and very in-depth, but it can be somewhat hard to follow at times. Some of the gameplay mechanics, especially with the recharging of your, pretty much I like to see your battery cell for all of your augmentations, I thought that issue was a major problem I had in Human Revolution, and it's still present here. And another major issue, I guess you can say not intentional, is the fact that I think the challenge factor is somewhat really depleted because you have so many options at your disposal, including all these new augmentations, which some of them are really way overpowered. I think the fact that in Human Revolution you had a very limited amount of augmentations, I mean, it was still vast, but compared to how it is in Mankind Divided, it's somewhat limiting, therefore providing a much harder challenge. And the fact that I have just so many augmentations that they can be upgraded and so overpowered kind of made the game feel way too easy. And the lack of boss fights just kind of didn't give me a chance to really test out my muscle with these augmentations, making the game just feel way too easy. However, despite these problems, I absolutely recommend that you at least give this a try and come up with a decision of yourself. I still think this is a great game and a must-own for anyone who is a big fan of story-driven games. However, I know that this isn't going to be very compelling to a majority of players who are just more into a much more fast-paced and much more simpler type of storytelling in modern day games. If I had to give Deus Ex Mankind Divided a rating, I'm only going to give it 1 point higher than I would give Human Revolution, and I'm going to give it a solid 8. Definitely give this a try when you get a chance, but if this isn't really a franchise you've really been interested in, I can't say that Mankind Divided is going to get you to become a major fan of it as I am. If you like my game review, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check out my future game reviews. And like always, thank you guys for watching, you're awesome, and I'll see you next time.